I know I'm in a simulation, but have no means of proving it. So I'm schizoaffective. I guess it's really my cover, but for all intents and purposes, I basically believe that I'm in a simulation. I have had a lot of weird experiences across my life that suggest this. Is it the Illuminati, aliens, angels, God, or am I just some digital asset on some 5D crypto miner's spare hard drive? I have no fucking clue, but I tend to default to attributing it all to the CIA because, let's just say, I like to explain the garden in terms of the rules of the garden. It's also become part of my brand as a writer, just so you know. That said, let me tell you the most recent of my experiences to let you in on what's going on with me. I recently became homeless in a small city to the north of Dallas. A couple months ago, I had gotten a comfy gig as the lead writer of an art collective and charity, but that fell through due to lack of funding. I'll save you the horrors of how I wound up in Dallas proper and just jump to the juicy bits. I was completely broke, but I got paid today, Friday, from another gig I had. Up until that point, I had been resourceful and got to stay in the overflow facility at a local homeless shelter. While there, I happened to notice that I was missing my ring, which I know I had when I got there. This greatly upset me, as it was no ordinary ring. You see, I have 3 material objects that have an extraordinary amount of meaning behind them. Let me tell you about them real quick. The first is a fuzzy owl hat that my handler in the CIA, long story, see the pinned post on my profile for my book that details that shebang, gave to me at a crucial moment of my brainwashing. It stands for kindness. The second is a pink penguin plushie who was my friend while the CIA trained me in the most roundabout way possible. She stands for compassion. And finally, I have a silver ring that was given to me by a CIA gang stalker after she got me to look for her wedding ring. It stands for selfless service. These 3 things are my highest values, and thus these items represent the most important things to me. I didn't get chosen for the overflow lottery last night, so with no place else to go, I chose to sleep behind a bus stop outside the 24-hour club, a nice little project that helps addicts and the homeless, but despite the name, closes at 10. As such, I set my alarm for right at midnight when my deposit hit, so I could book the earliest flight back to my previous home. It went off right on time, and just as I got up and shuffled myself across the street to use the Wi-Fi, the sky began to open up. We're talking torrential downpour with hail. So that's just a coincidence, right? Just got lucky. Well, as I'm sitting there under the cover of the 24-hour club outcropping, a man in nothing but a neon spandex one-piece runs up and takes shelter right next to me. Keep in mind, it's like 40 degrees. But anyways, we start small talking before he asks me if I have an extra pair of pants. I happen to have a bag of spare clothes, a bag I haven't opened since I became homeless, which I opened to get out a pair of jeans, which I handed to him without a moment's hesitation. He then thanks me and runs back off into the storm. Well, I close my bag up, which was to my left, and begin ordering my ticket again, when I notice something to my right out of the corner of my eye. It's my fucking ring! Not some other ring. The exact same ring as it spins and has an unusual carving of a spider on it. How the fuck did it get there? I have no fucking idea, but I'm certain that was another one of the endless tests that whatever mysterious system administrator is out there gave to me. I am certain that the only reason my ring materialized there was because I selflessly helped that mysterious man. Of this I have no doubt in my mind. My life is filled with these strange, impossible coincidences and synchronicities. I got a diagnosis by telling the doctors about them, but it's so real to me that there's something out there deliberately crafting scenarios that test my character, punishing me when I fail, and rewarding me when I do good. There's no other explanation for what my life is. I'm in a simulation. That is a fact. Hey there, looks like you submitted a story or personal experience. Quick reminder that this flare is for stories without photo or video evidence. If you have photo-video evidence to back up your story, please delete this post, post your photo-video, and leave your story in a top-level comment on the new post. Please review our rules for posting glitches. smallhowiew.reddit.com/simulationtheory/index glitch post rules. Here. Additionally, if you want to improve your post's credibility, you can answer these questions. How old are you? Were you under the influence of any substance when your experience occurred or when you collected the evidence? Do you believe that our reality is simulated? Note, answering no does not mean your submission will be removed. This is not required, but will add credibility to your submission. Please leave your answers in a separate top-level comment. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please ARF message compose to our simulation theory. Contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. I'm 33. 9 years ago, the CIA contacted me while on an acid trip. For 6 years, they completely controlled my digital life and created scenarios to condition me in the physical world. You see, I was a problem, a big problem. I'm not going to tell you what that problem was, but they got me to go to Love School, which was a program set up like a cult, where every moment of every day was planned out to give me the proper oil changes and cheesecloths. That's their code for operant and classical conditioning. That's how they reconditioned me out of my cluster B personality disorders and trained me to write propaganda for them. They told me they spent $3 million on this shit. Well, it worked, but they still do weird things like this. I don't know how they do some of the stuff they do, but they've convinced me that they have extraordinary means to control reality, or at least my perception of reality. Check out my book on my profile for the complete story. Because I occasionally post on NSFW drug subs, my profile is labeled NSFW, so if you don't see it, that's why. I recommend you read or even watch videos on Thomas Campbell on his work. ahrefmybigtoe.com, mybigtoe.com / amazon.com. My Big Toe Dog Complete Trilogy. That's thrown on amazon.com. My Big Toe Big True Complete Toothfellow 94 Trilogy. /archive.org details / my big toe trilogy. My Big Toe PDF. Greetings, brother Toist. Hi, I'm Vetted AI Bot. I researched the strong My Big Toe, a trilogy unifying philosophy, physics, and metaphysics, awakening discovery, inner workings, and I thought you might find the following analysis helpful. Users liked unique perspective on the nature of reality, backed by 3 comments. Compelling and logically consistent hypothesis, backed by 1 comment. Thought-provoking and life-changing, backed by 3 comments. Users disliked difficult to understand and not for the general public, backed by 2 comments. Non-substantive and cumbersome, backed by 1 comment. Poorly written and repetitive, backed by 2 comments. If you'd like to strong summon me to ask about a product, just make a post with its link and tag me, Earth. www.com/tablet/comments444ZDN comment JoeQD89C, like in this example. This message was generated by a very smart bot. If you found it helpful, let us know with an upvote and a good bot reply, and please feel free to provide feedback on how it can be improved. Powered by ref/vetted.ai/vetted.ai div. Nice rec. Goes hand in hand with Lanza biocentrism theory as well. This is sad. You're not in a simulation. Your brain is designed to recognize patterns and create stories. All people think of their lives as a narrative. Your disease takes the normal ways your brain works and cranks them up. You should read the DSM. Your delusions are textbook, not in a mean way, in a way that should be comforting to you. It's more like a parody of textbook delusions, really. That's a good point, actually. If you wanted to trick a psychiatrist into diagnosing you, this is exactly what you should say. Haha. No, we are in a simulation. If you can't see that, then you're long gone. I mean, epistemically, you can't prove anything. Descartes' demon and all that. It doesn't benefit me to believe that, though. The assumption that the things I'm experiencing are real is a very useful one. I'd love to hear what you have to say, though. I fed your comments into an AI LLM, and this was what its output was. This was done merely out of interest to me. And yes, this is an account that I have created just for this purpose, so I assumed it's not personal at all to do something like this. ahrefet/redditexperiment.blogspot Alex Zoin. Is really what they look like? Or is it something that's so far off that we need to not worry so much about this demonic AI and can focus on reality? Because I have been trying to wrap my head around some of the people who comment on Reddit posts, and this is not a huge amount of effort for me. Here's what AI LLM visual rendering of the comments by /you Alex Zoin. Have you realized that you are a people that comments on Reddit posts? I've experienced nothing but supernatural in my life. Clones, doppelgangers trying to get between me and my wife, possessed humans knowing my deepest secrets, reptilians psychically attacking me, remembering past lives of being tortured and repped to death, and not to mention my twin flame wife remembers the same life I do. You're right, we can't prove anything to anyone, but people still believe Joe Biden is human, Elon Musk is just a tech guy, and that we went to the moon. The spirit realm is taking over. I fucking wish I was brainwashed. We are legit inside of a simulated realm. They are harvesting humans. Do you know how many children are getting brutally raped right now by the same people you and others watch on TV? This evil is poisoning everything spiritual. Shit, if you aren't mentally ill, then you're just purely brainwashed. Life is not normal. Go to work, eat, sleep, shit, repeat. Oh, and AI is taking over. They want us to become cyborgs. That's their plan. They want full control of our souls so they can hap and torture us for eternity. Few of us know we have a mission here to stop this from happening, and all of us are called mentally ill and schizo. I'm very interested in talking to you further. I'd just like to say, nothing you brought up specifically has anything to do with life being a simulation. Could supernatural phenomenon not just be a part of reality? Why does that indicate life is simulated? Why are you trying to intellectualize mental instability? Not sure what you mean. Have you read the comments of the commenter you are replying to? Several of them. Yes. Are you implying that it's irresponsible of me to respond to the comments because of the apparent symptoms of mental illness? I'm not commenting on responsibility at all. I'm just curious why you are trying to rationally interrogate a point that clearly comes from an irrational source. Have you never tried to understand someone else's perspective before? I'm curious about the other commenters' internal logic and how they deal with what seems to me a flaw in their reasoning. Also, this is exactly what CBT does with a therapist. You talk about the irrational beliefs you have. The professionals obviously see it as a worthwhile way to have a conversation. Not that I'm trying to do therapy in a Reddit comment or anything. I'm just curious. Exactly how trained psychological personnel react, either a student or practitioner of social services in some way, with that undertones of mockery. I've experienced many matrix glitches. I've seen clones everywhere, on TV, in society, etc. Everything is so artificial. And why is everything square? Houses, food, items, etc. And space is not what they tell us it is. Space is in the astral realm. I've listened to over 2,000 hours of True Glitch in the Matrix stories. Surely those are all just made up, right? No. People have seen their pet, phone, items, food literally teleport or disappear from existence. People have witnessed their family member, friend, repeat exactly what they just said in the same tone and order, but when they ask them why did they just repeat it, they have no clue what they're talking about. My wife's parents had a matrix glitch, even though they are 100% whitewashed and brainwashed. They were in Italy and walking down a road at night, and the road turned, and then they kept going in circles. For an hour straight, they kept seeing the same houses, the same trees, same cars, going in circles. The road just kept going. Things like these are what resonates with me. Everyone experiences different shit. All I know is the simulation theory makes so much sense. It explains these matrix glitches. Not only that, but everything is artificial now. They are starting to implant chips into people's brains. AI is legit taking over. AI is evil. I'm too tired to explain more, but yeah. I firmly know we are in some sort of matrix simulation. I've seen it with my own eyes. I see the hologram grids every day. I see the same clones everywhere I go. I just want to get TF out of here, honestly. am sick of suffering. Regarding squares, 6 identical squares make a cube, which is a very stable structure, besides like a pyramid, which will have less volume for the amount of materials. Circles as well would be impractical to build, e.g. walls out of. I'm wondering what your alternative shape is that we should build houses out of. Maybe we'll introduce it in the next patch. Yeah, I get that, but why is everything artificial now? I'm just curious because I hate AI and I hate living in society. There's no sense of community, spirituality, or family in this world, or particularly in the US. Do we really want to be controlled by AI? Do people really want a chip implant in their brain? If I built my own house, it wouldn't be square, it would be round. Smooth edges in nature. Industrialization, capitalism, and materialism. E.g., it is very easy for Apple to mass-produce phones that they can then sell for enormous profit to everyone who needs the next upgrade, which in our society is most people who wants to use an old slow phone. This is probably more true in more developed areas. Maybe you would benefit from moving to the countryside or just a different area, or do some community outreach yourself. We don't want to be controlled by anyone. Yeah, a lot of people do. Okay, this will be more expensive than a square house, but will look different than your neighbors. Unless you mean like a hut. en.wikipedia.org /African round wikipedia.org wiki /African round hut. No one is stopping you from building one of those. Again, I'd love to talk with you more. I'm at Alex Zoin on Twitter, or you can DM me on Reddit. Couldn't the glitches and time loops and clones be just as easily explained by magic? Maybe the disappearing items are stolen by ghosts or elves. There are great reasons for everything being square, by the way. It could be, shit, I'm only 20, so I only know by my own experiences. I guess we will find out when they leave the physical realm, lol. Honest question. You say you're sick of suffering. Have you tried antipsychotic medications? I assume, hopefully correctly, that you've talked to a mental health professional about these things. Have you tried any treatments? These antipsychotics are just updates to the simulation, resolves the glitches. Well, maybe some people need their glitches resolved. Antipsychotics don't help these kind of beliefs. I've tried them and I still believed most of what that guy was saying. They just made me feel like shit. These kind of beliefs are called delusions. It's one thing to theorize about this kind of thing, but it's quite another to have left reality completely. I'm sorry medications haven't worked for you. I hope your mental health professional is helping you figure out what to do from here. No, you know nothing of the spirit realm, dimension, demonic entities. You are fully programmed and indoctrinated. Hell no, bro. Struck pill medications. They are specifically designed to close your psychic senses. It's as bad as getting vaccines or a Neuralink chip. I use natural medications like ashwagandha, St. John's wort, cannabis, shrooms. I would never go on antipsychotics, unless I would want to sell my soul. Also, fuck therapists. They literally don't help at all. Antidepressants made me start cutting myself and being manic and loving blood. I can't believe people think holistic medicine doesn't work. Big Pharma is the biggest demonic company. Do you know how many holistic doctors died last year? Do you think it's normal to be completely spiritually detached? So anyone who sees ghosts, demonic entities, etc., you think that's mentally ill or schizo? Imagine having an app on your phone that controlled your own brain. If you are craving something you can't eat, just press the reduce hunger button. If you need to be asleep by a certain time, engage instant sleep mode with an alarm clock. I don't know, brain chips sound pretty cool. Yeah, except they wouldn't let you have the admin controls because you'd just abuse it. No, brain chips are fully evil. They are meant for the evil elites to hijack your body and soul. It's already starting. I have experienced much of the same things you have shared here. Thanks for sharing. I hate that we're going through this, but it's better than being completely alone. Yeah, I agree. I'm mostly alone. I only have my twin flame wife and my soul son, but that's it. No friends or blood family because everyone's completely demonic and clones of Satan. Because you are mentally ill and schizophrenic, get help. Gaslight much. Typical response from a programmed clone or a useless reptilian. You clearly have no soul. Good luck with escaping this matrix hell. And I'm not going into the light after I die either. That's a trap. Yup, it's so weird. Me and my wife remember reincarnating in our horrible past lives, but we don't remember the in-between stage. Time doesn't make sense when past lives are one after the other. Try speaking aloud. Computer upgrade simulation experience to premium subscription can't hurt. If you actually have a mental disorder and know it, then why would you believe all the crazy shit your brain tells you? Can you not recognize the symptoms even though you are aware they are caused by your problem? Like the movie A Beautiful Mind, he learned to recognize his disease and live with it. I know nothing about this stuff, so this is a legit question with no ill will intended. See, I'm what's known as a crackhead. That's a code name for someone who's a part of the CIA's extended network that acts crazy while spilling state secrets. This has the effect of dividing the audience into two groups. Normal people, who default to explaining my eccentricities as mental illness and actively dismiss all my claims, and conspiracy theorists, who read into my claims and continue to delve into my sizable rabbit hole, in which they find information left exclusively for them. This is a tried and true cord/reddit.com/shruglifesynda comments, US 1177, propaganda about propaganda propaganda technique, which divides the narrative between normal people and conspiracy theorists, creating a divide in the information each is willing to entertain, thereby allowing major sources of secret information to exist without the majority of people paying attention to it. Counterintelligence too. It's amazing how you rationalize your irrational convictions. See, there's this phenomenon known as agrefw.reddit.com/shruglifesyndicate, comments, UOFD/razzledazzle/ Medium Android app, and Dazzle Camouflage. I spit the truth, then talk about aliens butt-fucking me, and you actively fight to reject that truth, because I'm an idiot, her-durer. That's your delusional brain, retroactively trying to justify its own irrational behavior towards yourself. I think I love you, lol. Keep serving the truth always. I love me too. No, there's not. You don't spit truth. You're just crazy. Get some fucking help. You see the surface, which is designed to filter the audience of which you're a part of. Look deeper for more significant truths. Maybe don't talk about aliens butt-fucking you if you want to sound credible. You aren't a CIA plant. I don't want to seem credible to the average munchkin. I want to filter them out so I can find the people who my propaganda is designed for. Other schizos, you mean? You desperately want to feel important in a world that has no use for you, only issues. There are certainly a few others in this sub, but all you do is fuel each other's delusions and make each other more miserable in consequence. It sucks. You're not to blame for the way your brain works, but you are to blame for not accepting that you need to take responsibility for it, nevertheless, and do the best you can to get treatment. Miserable? Quite the opposite. By forming communities around our eccentricities, we find camaraderie in the things that make us unique, and can find guidance and support from those who have traveled similar but different paths. You just fortify each other's illness using an echo chamber, guiding each other away from treatment and into further dysfunctionality. Why is treatment always the option you normies always turn to? I'm highly functional without treatment. I'm just weird. Nothing wrong with that. I am remarkably well put together, and I help other people by teaching philosophy, spirituality, and mental health skills. I'm forming a cult, like an art collective and educational non-profer that makes a show, and have several interested individuals and growing. I have a boyfriend that I love with all my heart. I've got purpose, and I'm happy. Things are peachy for me, so what's the problem with stepping outside the bounds of normativity? I think people like you are incredibly small-minded. You live in little worlds and can't conceive of anything greater. We're all deluded. All truths are lies. Knowledge is an illusion of epistemological origins. The only difference is, your world doesn't have magic. You're going to live in the same fucking story until the day you die. What fun is that? I feel sorry for you because you're not brave enough to step away from what you know and try something completely new. Propaganda comes from the state, not individuals. JFC, there are no institutions. There is only the network, which composes societal nodal clusters. I have no idea what you're saying. So the reality most people live in is a culturally derived one. We get told there is a state and various institutions that uphold that state. But in reality, these things are only mimetic constructs and do not actually exist, as an apple or an elephant exists. What really exists is a nodal communication system. Think of a brain, a bunch of neurons connected to one another, only each person is a node instead of a neuron. So, we can measure the functionality of this NCS by how interconnected the various nodes are. Like, we might think of a state like America as one system, but really the people with the most power are interconnected with various other states, and thus we can define various nodal constructs based on how networked different clusters of the system are with each other. I.e., there is no state, only individuals who work together across cultural and institutional boundaries. I agree that everything is a bunch of nodes. In fact, I think reality itself is a hypergraph rewriting system. Look up the Wolfram Physics Project to learn more about that. But just because everything is made of nodes doesn't mean that states don't exist. You're missing a key concept in your ideas: emergence. The state is an emergent phenomenon. The country called the United States definitely exists. Tables and chairs exist. They are made up of atoms, which also exist. Those atoms are made up subatomic particles, which themselves are made up of excitation of fields. Would you say that houses don't exist and only wood exists? I wouldn't. I'd highly recommend looking up both emergence and coarse graining. See, you need to analyze the function of one's mimetic constructs and adjust those constructs as needed to maximize your impact. Yes, you can define the emergent property of this nodal communication system we are as states, but that mimetic construct is limiting, meaning it's software that allows you to be controlled by people using more advanced software. To expand on this, Utilogix 4 RSRL VL culture is your operating system. The mind is built from memes, which form memeplexes, which form your culture. This means that the building blocks of your consciousness determine the functionality of your software. What you believe is the nature of reality determines what you're able to do. If you believe there is a door in a wall, you will be able to get to the other side. But you believe there is no door, you will be trapped in said room. There's some pretty elaborate esoteric knowledge and wisdom regarding the engineering of culture and society that various clusters of our nodal communication system are aware of and take advantage of. A known example of this is how if you give a society bread and circuses, the society will be more placated. If you think outside the terms of state and institution, you will have more functionality in terms of what you can think of doing and accomplish. Think in terms of network connectivity, and you can greatly increase your impact on the world. Stop with the esoteric philosophical bullshit and go see a doctor. It's not esoteric philosophical bullshit. It's targeted advertising using game theory. No, it's not. Get help for your mental illness. That's a code name for someone who's a part of the CIA's extended network that acts crazy while spilling state secrets. You're nuts, buddy. Just accept it and get help. You ever think people with definable mental defects ever become aware of these defects? Yes, dude. They take themselves to the doctors and get help. Get help. Like I have the same illness. All I can tell you is some of his ideas have merit. A lot of his story is typical mental illness symptomology, but he, like many, illness or not, have questions about reality and the various details of it all. Hindsight can be 20/20. My illness is episodic, so after each episode I analyze rationally what happened and what was likely my own mind generating anomalies or real occurrences. What I implore you to understand, not every story a mentally ill person tells is just the illness. There is significant overlap between people and their experiences, with or without illness. OP, if you are reading this, here is an idea for you to wonder. When I was very young, I had a dream about an infinite void with a 3D green matrix and eventually a tiny white star. This was the singularity of all energy between iterations of the cosmos. The star exploded, and in the streams of light were galaxies. In 2013, I tried DMT. The trip took me back to that dream. I've wondered for years what it all means. I don't know if this is right, but the idea came to me. The green three-dimensional grid was AI created. After each iteration of the cosmos, at the very end, organic life cannot be sustained. But the AI does and is programmed to ensure the preservation and eventual rebirth of the cosmos. So, we are in a hybridized reality. Not quite a simulation, I'd say. I don't know if it's right, but thought I'd let you know. What does it change if it's a simulation or not? A drawing can't escape the paper plane and the computer character is bound to a piece of CPU. It is how it is, and we have to face it anyways. By perceiving and undoing the karmic fetters that bind you to the existence illusion complex, you transcend the piece of paper. Why would the CIA be so interested in you?